Hey guys, it's Richa back with another math video, and today we're going to be focusing on how to add and how to multiply matrices. Now, it is extremely important to remember that when you're adding matrices, they have to be the same dimension. So given these matrices on the board, the only matrices you can add are A and C, because those are the only matrices that are 2 by 2. And when you're naming matrices, it's always row by column. So this would be a 3 by 1, not a 1 by 3. This would be a 2 by 3, and these two are 2 by 2s. Adding matrices are really easy. You just go across. There's not really any fancy complex math things you have to do. So you do A plus A, because it's A, B, C, D, just the general matrix form. So A plus A, which is 3 plus 4, 7. 1 plus 8 is 9. 5 plus negative 6 is negative 1. And negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So that is A plus C. There's such thing as scalar multiplication, which would just be like 1/2 A, for example. And it's just saying multiply all the A values, or all the values in matrix A, by 1/2, or divide by 2. So we have 1/2 times 3, 1, 5, negative 2. And it's just like you're distributing the 1/2 over. So 1/2 times 3, 3/2. 1/2 times 1, 1/2, 5/2, and negative 1. So that is also common, and this can make it look confusing, but just remember it's just like you're distributing right across. So now multiplying a 2 by 2 matrix is a little different than adding or scaling. So I want to multiply A and C. So I will write the problem like this, which is most likely how you'll see it on tests or quizzes or homework. Now you always multiply row by column. So I'm going to go slow, and because you're multiplying a 2 by 2 matrix and a 2 by 2 matrix, you're going to get a 2 by 2 matrix. Although when you start to do different dimensions, it's going to be a little more complicated than that. So we're going to go this first row by this column, row, column. So 3 times 4, okay, I'm just going to write that down here. 3 times 4 plus 1 times negative 6. All right, so 3 times 4 is 12, plus negative 6 is 6, so we're going to put a 6 here. Now, to do this side, we're going to do the same row, but by this column. So we're going to do 3 times 8, which is 24, plus 1 times 2, which is 2, and we get a 26, and because you're doing the upper row and the side column, it's going to go in this upper row, side column, this one. So we'll put 26 here, and now we're doing bottom row, left column. So we're going to be looking at this number here. We're going to do 5 plus 4, which is 20, plus negative 2 times negative 6, which is 12, and we get 32. And now we're doing bottom row, right column. So we have 5 times 8, which is 40, plus negative 2 times 2 is negative 4, and 40 plus negative 4 is 36. All right, now that was a lot to take in, but pretty much what you're doing is for every value here, you're multiplying the row by the column, and you're adding the two sums. So now you know how to multiply A times C. But if you multiply C times A, you won't get the same answer So when taking tests or doing your homework, it's very important to remember what the order is. Are you multiplying A times C or C times A? Because the answers are very different when you're multiplying matrices. All right, we're going to do the exact same thing, row by column. So we have our top row, second column. Top row is 4 times 3, which is 12, plus 8 times 5 is 40, which we get 52. Now we're going to get the value for top row, right column. We're going to do top row, right column. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. 4 plus negative 16 is negative 12. Now we're going to do bottom row, left column. So this and this. Negative 6 times 3 is negative 18, plus 2 times 5 is 10. We get negative 8. All right. And now we're doing bottom row, right column. So we're doing these numbers and these numbers. So negative 6 times 1 is negative 6, and 2 times negative 2 is negative 4, so we get negative 10. Now look at the difference in answers. These are definitely not the same. Therefore, it's very important to remember what you're multiplying. What if instead of giving a 2 by 2 matrix, I gave you a 2 by 3 and a 3 by 1? Now you're thinking, how do I multiply this? Now before you start doing any multiplying, you need to check if it's even compatible to multiply. So this is how I check, and it works really great. So say I'm giving the problem AB, which we know is different than BA to multiply. It's very different. Addition, it's the same thing. So I have the dimensions 2 by 3 and a 3 by 1. So in order to multiply these two numbers have to be the same. And so in other words, this one's row and this one's column needs to match up. And your answer would be these two numbers. So if you multiplied a 2 by 3 and a 3 by 1, you would get a 2 by 1 as your answer. So what if I was given the problem B times A? Would I be able to multiply those two? We have a 3 by 1 and a 2 by 3. And these two numbers don't match up. Therefore, you cannot multiply them. And the reason why 2 by 2 works is because you have a 2 by 2 and a 2 by 2. These two numbers are the same thing. Therefore, you get a 2 by 2 as your answer. Now, this is very important to remember because if you start multiplying something that doesn't work, you're going to think you did something wrong and there's no answer. So there's no point even trying to multiply B times A because you know that there's no answer. So now that we know how to check to make sure that you can even multiply the matrices, let's try multiplying A times B. Remember, the reason why this works is because when you're multiplying matrices, you're always multiplying row by column. Therefore, the number of rows and columns need to match in the matrices so you can multiply them. Now, according to our calculations, we should get a 2 by 1 matrix. So 2 rows, 1 column. So we're doing the top row and the first column. Here there is only 1 column, so we're going to use this column for both of the rows. So 7 times negative 5 is negative 35, plus 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 times 7 is 7. Negative 35 plus 6 is negative 29, plus 7, negative 22. So you have negative 22 up here. Now we're going to do the bottom row and the other column, but then again there's only one column, so we use the same column. 6 times negative 5 is negative 30. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. And 3 times 7 is 21. So you have negative 42 plus 21 is 21. So our answer would be negative 22, negative 21. So summary for this video, what we learned was when you're adding matrices, they have to be the same dimensions, and it doesn't matter which order you add them because it's the same thing. And we learned scalar multiplication, which is when you just distribute any number across the matrix, just like you would regularly. And we learned matrix multiplication and we learned how to identify if matrices are compatible with multiplying each other. Alright, thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave it in the comments below. Thank you. See you next time. Row by column.